Greetings everyone, my name is Buck Business. Konnichiwa, I'm Kawaii Critic, and today we are here to review My Little Pony Season 9, Episode 3, Uprooted. And unlike last time, we are not going to be editing back and forth, we're just going to do it together and save some editing time. I do feel like that premiere was a little bit, too much back and forth between all that editing, and it just kills so much more time. Anyway, as we move on, let us talk about this episode. So, this episode begins with the Student 6 all having some sort of shared dream, apparently. They all, once again, re-experience their greatest fears, which, already on its viewing, it kinda is pretty confusing considering that they were tested before for their weaknesses / fears. It seemed like, for the most part, the Student 6 conquered said fears. But to have said fears reappear, or in this case some instances changed, the ones that change make sense, and the ones that stayed the same, I don't know, kind of make sense or don't make sense. It's really confusing, honestly. Gelus Chan still has this similar fear of, or her fear is slightly changed to be, more school-oriented, I suppose. Silverstream Chan has, wanting to be a Wonderbolt now as well. Gallus Kun wants to, or is still afraid of small spaces, although I thought he'd conquer that, or maybe he's still afraid, I don't know. I guess he is. Again, a little bit confusing, but it gets the point across. They were all summoned via dream by the Tree of Harmony, or what was left of it, in the sparkly Twilight. So, after their little dream sequence, they all want to go visit what is left of the tree, and after hearing that it has been officially destroyed by Sombra, they all kind of waste a little bit of time getting their permission slips. We get to pad out the episode with them getting their permission slips in all different unique ways, and probably the best one out of all of them, and I'm going to say the best character in this episode is easily Gallus, because he has the best moments in this awful episode. Gallus goes to get his permission slip, and he just gets it without having to do anything. Brilliant comedic effect, based on, again, information we already possess. Pretty smart on them. The rest, they have to do all these random chores. It kind of, again, eats up a little bit of that time. You have Smolder doing some sort of arm wrestling contest. You have Yuna doing chores, based on, moving things. Sandbar doesn't really have to do anything in particular. Ocellus just gets all the signatures anyway, etc., etc. So when they return, it would appear that Sandbar apparently moved the tree, and he does not exposit where he moved the tree to at this time, rather that he just did it so that they can do their new thing, and that displeased the rest of the Student 6. And they all have differing ideas on how to essentially make something to honor what's left of the tree. And this is where the episode has its stupidest moment. Yuna Chan, of course, having the bright idea to collaborate with each other, essentially giving the moral pretty early on, saying, compromise, again, with that moral again, but everyone says no, because we gotta kill a little bit more time. And thus, everyone embarks on their little one-off bits on how to do their little thing for their tree, and again, Gelus Kun once again has the best moment, because it fits with the the moments we have with these characters. Again, he has the best moment. He sort of has this sort of step right up and feast your eyes on this magnificent thing. And he's making up all this information. He's doing a very Gravity Falls. I forget what the character's name is, but he does a very convincing performance up until a certain point. Again, very akin to his character, and as opposed to this, Yuna Chan just having the solution does feel a little bit rushed, but then again, at the same time, they go, no, it's just to save that time, and then they finally go, everything's falling apart because everybody's ideas are clashing, both literally and figuratively, and thus, after their ideas clash, everyone's arguing, and then Yuna Chan's like, no, you gotta do it this way, you gotta do it the compromising way. And thus, she sort of tries to present the idea, and then the Silverstream Chan essentially fills in the blank of the word, and thus everyone else agrees that that's the best idea. So they start building together, and of course we get a nice little song to accompany this, and there's nothing inherently wrong with the song. You could literally replace the word tree with the idea of this show together, and I think that's essentially the idea of the song, is even though the show may end, the ideas behind it will live on forever. And again, the sentiment is great and all, but how we get there is, again, rather messy, unfortunately. So this episode has good moments, but I don't feel like it is a good episode. Same for the first two episodes. Good moments, but not a good two set of episodes. So, very familiar territory. So, Season 9, even up until this episode, still feels like it's struggling to find its feet. It is struggling to have that very solid episode so far. We're 3 episodes in, so again, I'm very concerned about what we are doing moving forward. But again, there are quite a few episodes to go, so while Season 9 might have not started off strong, hopefully this whole idea of building up things is going to lead to something. And that, again, that does feel like another issue that I have brought up before, is that these 3 episodes in their own right, they feel like they're more set up to something bigger because they build the tree at the end, and then it builds into something much greater. It builds into this whole magical play set that the kids will probably buy because Hasbro's got to make that money somehow. But as far as the context for this episode, that does also feel like a setup for something in the future. And again, that is a consistent issue throughout My Little Pony, is set up without focusing on what makes the episode in itself, a self-contained episode, good. Again, that has been the struggle for these first 3 episodes. But that is our review of My Little Pony Season 9, Episode 3, Uprooted. And if you did enjoy this review, then please feel free to like and comment. And if you do wish to subscribe, then check out the main channel, which I will not forget this time to leave a link in the description to the main channel. Please feel free to do that. And until next time, everyone, farewell. Bye-bye.